Hi, Zizaran here with another harvest video, and this is going to be a Play With Me announcement. If you're new to the Play With Me series, this is where I try to announce it around a week in advance that we are going to do one, and it is going to be on Saturday, the 18th of July at 8 a.m. BST. And this is a series where I try to do like a level 1 to 70 in one session while also heavily explaining everything I'm doing and the build. And then if I end up doing something like maybe differently than what I've planned out ahead, then you get to see that live and how I deal with any problems. This is also going to be a Chieftain Marauder, but leveling as a Spellcaster, which I know a lot of people aren't particularly familiar with or how to do. So hopefully, like there will be like a lot of generic tips for how to level a Spellcaster Marauder there. And I would try to like keep them super budget at least until level 70, and then I start scaling with whatever I have on Soul Sulfan and seeing what we could explore and just taking the build further. So we have like a rough mock-up of a skill tree here. This isn't necessarily exactly what I'm doing, but I'm hoping to go like somewhere up here, then grab this cluster, and then I'm either going in here or straight up here for Elemental Overload. Not 100% decided. And this is also very heavily inspired by Nugi. He's been playing this at the moment, so it's Blade Blast and Bladefall, and it looks really strong. He doesn't even have like all the stuff like a Zibakwa. I know he was like pretty jealous that I found. I just found another one because I lost my last one, but that is a very powerful jewel. We'll talk about that and show that later. But it's a very complicated defense mechanism with conversion and stuff. Doesn't really matter that much, but for like super endgame, that's something really good for hardcore. Part of the other reason for why I chose this build in particular, obviously, like I see Nugi doing it and it looks really strong, but I got the Bladefall has one additional volley, which is going to be really good for single target, and I got this. So it's very popular for this build, and we've seen like Lily and Crying doing an assassin version, but for that, it's very like a lot of people do a helmet with like extra links and stuff. Whereas this is basically going to make my Bladefall a 6 link. So for like super late game, I'm gonna experiment with that, and it's got some damage stats too, and Fist is extra lightning, and an open suffix. So some pretty cool stuff there with the helmet, and I'm not gonna do low life on this build. I do plan to do one soon though, but I wanted to go over a little bit. What am I going to use for leveling? So as you see, like I've set aside some currencies here. I have no fusings in this tab. That's because I'm currently experiencing a fusing crisis because my chests aren't linking anymore. I'm sure it's just a bug and it'll pass soon. But yeah, some generic currency here, and we'll go over the skill gems too. But I want to show some really cool things for leveling because these are some very great tips for a lot of builds. Darkness and Throne. This doesn't have a level requirement, and while it can be pretty annoying to roll the like hypnotic jewels or searching jewels or whatever you want, they can cost like 20 to 100 alterations per, but you have them for the entire league. So I usually like to roll something like this. Doesn't matter what damage type it is. So I just have one with like fire damage spells and cold damage spells. And then that is quite a lot of damage in your first 20 levels. Um, and then here I have a Wanderlust. And then we have like a +1 fist skill gems because I want to level with Blade Vortex early, and then I'll be changing into Bladefall and Blade Blast at level 28. But Blade Vortex until then. The build is going to need a lot of dexterity, so I'd recommend getting a crew reward. And this is a great time to point out Anointing Diamond Skin is incredibly cheap. If you go to the Diamond Skin node here, you can see that it's just a clear, a sepia, or I don't know, it's a brown oil and then teal or something. Very cheap and just so great for leveling amulets. The gems that I've like pre-bought, and I'm not 100% sure what gems. We find that out on the fly a little bit. Very recommend having a second character to buy gems on. But these are the ones I've bought ahead of time at least. Ethereal Knives, Onslaught, Pierce, Explosive Trap, Smoke Mine, Swift Assembly, Herald of Purity, Herald of Ash, Flame Dash, Second Wind, Bladefall, and Blade Blast. That's the ones I bought ahead of time. I might have to go buy some more as well. If you don't have a second character, this could be a bit rough, but you do have access to the library in Act 3, and then, the can't remember, but in Act 6, the gem thing there. And how do you get ones like this? How do you make them? Well, there's a really easy way. So if I hold on Alt, you see that it's item level 2. The easiest way to buy or get item level 2 ones is to make a new character, kill Hillock, sell a Wisdom Scroll and a Orb of Scouring to the vendor to de-level your character to level 1. Now everything you buy from the vendor is going to be item level 2. And the reason we want that is because there's a few mods at item level 3 that we don't want, especially at level 4. Then what I do is I will use jagged fossils in this case for physical. And then if you get really unlucky, 10. But I think both of these are crafted in like 2 and the other in 3. So I used 5 jagged fossils total to make these. And yeah, they're none of them have. Oh, this one has open prefix and craft spell damage as high level for more damage. Or another good use is you can craft resist on them, so it's even easier to resist cap. I'm not doing like any other crazy gear. We're not using a tabula. Might throw on a gold rim, but I usually don't. I usually don't use that. I try to keep it as like low and easy as possible to follow along. Um, Something that's really cool as well, if you're in Trade League, I probably won't use this myself, even though I have several, and they're pretty common this league. I'll think about it just to like show it off as a damage difference thing. But these are really, really nice because you get so much damage. The flat damage to cold, and then obviously we're going to be doing a lot of fire conversion, so these would be really good while leveling. I'll definitely like consider doing it because I think let me go real quick and see how much they cost on Trade League because all the barracks rings are just really, really nice. Let me look on Harvest, barracks, the pass. How much are these? They're 1 chaos. We're using one. We're going to use one. I have several actually. I'll take it out of another tab. We'll use one at least and show it off because they are really, really nice and so cheap. So it's a good opportunity for me to show off some like nicer ways of leveling. Because these aren't like we're not at the league starter stage anymore. That's like what the other build guides are for. But yeah, I think that's a good opportunity to do that. And you can see we have Avatar of Fire here as well. So our first ascension is going to be like Namahu. And then with those, then we'll be converting all the fizz damage to fire and not dealing any cold, lightning, fizz, or fire or chaos, right? So like Azir's Promise wouldn't be good for us. There are people out there that have this node and are still using Azir's Promise. This does nothing except gives you chaos rest, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool. I'm excited for it. Like honestly, like watching Noogies looked really strong, really tanky. And I have a couple of like decent characters now, and I'll be like playing around with some more during the week. But I think it sounds like a really good play with me character. And we'll especially if it turns out well, I'll put up like a proper guide for it. So hope you guys are excited for that. I hope to see you there. We'll link a countdown in the description as well for 8 a.m. BST on the Saturday. And yeah, I hope you guys are having an amazing day and that you're enjoying the YouTube content and the Twitch content, hopefully, as well. Maybe you're a YouTube exclusive. I don't know. But yeah, I hope you're having a great day. Thanks for watching and try to die less than I do.